Hi lovelies! I know from years of reading comments on my YouTube videos that a lot of you are trying to incorporate more plant-based foods into your diet, whether you're full-on vegetarian or you're just toying with Meatless Monday. Today I've got 3 yummy vegetarian ideas I think you guys are really going to love. And they are so delicious, trust me, you won't miss any meat at all. As you all know, all January long, we are celebrating the launch of healthymealplans.com, our brand new meal planning website that allows you to browse hundreds of recipes, build your meal plan, and create your shopping list. We also have specialty meal plan bundles prepared for all sorts of diets like vegan, vegetarians. We have low carb meal plan prepared. So I hope you will head over to the site once you're done watching this yummy video and check it out. It has been such a labor of love and so much fun to put together. And of course, all 3 of today's yummy recipes will be featured on the site after the video, so you can find them there. Now, without further ado, let's get to our first vegetarian dish that I am super excited about. It is what I am calling my best ever quinoa salad. Now, this best ever quinoa salad is actually based on a salad that is available at a grocery store near my house. And for years, I could not figure out what the flavors were that made it so incredible. It's sort of this perfect combination of savory, crunchy, a little bit tart, but I think I finally got it, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Of course, as with any quinoa salad, this one starts with some cooked quinoa. Now, I've cooked my quinoa in a little bit of vegetable broth with some garlic just to give it a little more flavor. You could cook it in water, it's totally up to you. Once your quinoa has cooled completely, you can just transfer it into a large mixing bowl like this, and then we can pile in our veggies. So I've got some baby spinach headed in here with some red bell pepper, as well as some corn kernels. Then I'm going to add some feta cheese. Now, of course, if you want to keep this recipe vegan, leave the feta out. It's totally up to you, but I do find it adds just a nice savory touch. Then for some freshness, I'm also adding some freshly chopped parsley. This is one of those ingredients it took me years to figure out, and once I did, it really made the salad sing. The dressing for this salad could not be simpler. We're using a combination of oil and red wine vinegar. It's really important to use a flavorless oil in this recipe. You don't want a strong olive oil flavor. Something like canola or vegetable oil is perfect. The red wine vinegar is essential because it's got such a nice tartness to it. And finally, the super secret ingredient is just the littlest sprinkle of chili powder. You can just season this up with some salt and pepper to taste, give it a good toss, and it is ready to be enjoyed. And the best part is, the longer it sits, the better it gets. So it stores in the refrigerator really beautifully and will last for up to 4 days. Look how gorgeous the color is. Nothing compared to the flavor though. Next, for something a little different, we are making these delicious taco bowls that are actually vegan since we're going to taco away the meat. Taco away, take away. No, okay. So I'm going to be blending all of this up in my food processor. I'm starting with a few cups of cauliflower florets, and to that I'm also adding some walnuts. This is gonna give it some nice body and of course some great healthy fats. Then the most important ingredient is my tamari, which is actually just gluten-free soy sauce. If you want to use soy sauce instead here, that's totally fine. What you're looking for is that savory umami flavor that has a bit of meatiness to it, but of course is completely vegan. To pump up the flavor factor even more, I've got 1 chipotle in adobo sauce, which of course is nice and smoky and spicy. I've also got some chili powder headed in here, some ground cumin, and some garlic powder, classic taco seasonings. I'm adding just a touch of oil to this mixture, and then we're just going to add in some lime juice for some tartness and some freshness. Obviously, lime is always the perfect accompaniment to those smoky, savory flavors that are traditional in things like tacos, burritos, and chilies. All right, this is a new food processor, so I'm still learning how to make things happen with it. We're just gonna pop the lid on our food processor, and then we're gonna start by giving this a few pulses. We're essentially looking for that sort of ground beef texture. We're just gonna transfer this to a baking sheet and let it bake away for 20 to 30 minutes. Maybe, if we can get the lid off our food processor. Get it into the oven at 350 degrees for between 25 and 30 minutes. You just wanna let it get nice and brown and have those flavors really come out. I think it's always important to stir this once or twice during the cooking process to make sure it's evenly browned. And then you can just set it aside while we get to work on our cilantro lime rice. Now, of course, you can always use traditional rice in this recipe, but adding a little bit of chopped cilantro and some fresh lime juice to your rice takes it way over the top. You may be familiar with cilantro lime rice from Chipotle. This is that. How easy. And there you have it, guys. Vegan dinner loaded with nutrients, perfect for Taco Tuesday. Finally, I'm whipping up a nice big batch of one of my all-time favorite comfort food classics. It's Minestrone Soup, and it features loads of wonderful vegetables. Plus, you can add any extra veggies you have hanging out in the refrigerator that maybe are starting to go off a little bit. Minestrone is the perfect place to put them. It all starts with a little bit of oil in my soup pot. As soon as that oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add some veggies to this. So I've got some onion headed in here, some carrot, some celery. We'll cook those for 4 to 5 minutes just until they start to soften up. There is pretty much nothing on earth that I enjoy more than the smell of onion, carrot, and celery cooking up in a big soup pot. Once your veggies have started to soften up, you can go ahead and add some garlic into the pot. I'm adding 2 cloves here because trust me, a big pot of soup can handle 2 cloves of garlic. And then we can start adding in our fiber, which of course I think we all need more of in our life. I've got some red kidney beans headed into my pot. I'm using canned red kidney beans that have been drained and rinsed. And then I'm also adding some pasta to this. I'm using these adorable baby bow ties, but any small pasta will do in this recipe. For my seasonings, I'm using a classic combination of dried oregano, dried basil, and dried thyme in this recipe. And then I'm going to add some diced tomatoes to this, as well as a whole lot of vegetable broth. We'll give this mixture a good stir, bring it to a boil, and as soon as it's reached a boil, we can reduce our heat to medium and let this cook away. Now, of course, as with all soups, the longer this cooks, the more delicious it becomes. But the fact is, you really only need to cook this for 20 to 25 minutes, just until your veggies are tender and your pasta is cooked through. Then, once your soup is almost done, you can add in your final green veggies. I like adding my green beans and my peas right at the end of cooking. I like saving these for last so they don't get too mushy during the cooking process. I also, at this point, am going to stir in a little bit of fresh parsley. And of course, we should season this up liberally with salt and pepper. Let those veggies finish cooking, and guys, soup is on. Of course, making a big batch of this is always a good idea because you can refrigerate it for up to 4 days or freeze it for up to 3 months. What's not to love about having extra soup in your fridge? Am I right? I hope you'll give all 3 of these yummy recipes a try, and if you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Facebook me a photo, because you guys know how much I love seeing your kitchen creations. Remember, all 3 of these delicious recipes are being featured on healthymealplans.com. If you haven't checked out the website yet, I really hope you will. It's a great meal planning tool, so there's a lot to like about that. Finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.